San Diego Unified School Board members will meet next week to determine if there will be an independent investigation into the allegations against School Board President Marne Foster. Here with the details and lingering questions is Voice of San Diego reporter Mario Konan, whose series of articles chronicles the story. And Mario, there's so many parts to this. First, tell us about the accusations against Marne Foster involving a fundraiser she held for her sons.
Sure. So sometime, I believe it was in July, sometime this summer, Ms. Foster, as a school board member, held a private fundraiser for her sons. I think the focus was to get them back to college. The problem with that was that she used district resources to sort of promote the event. She called on connections that she had within the school district to come support, which they did, and they donated money. So it's sort of a red flag that it raised early on. And
what was the school board's response to that?
Well, one of the school board members, John Lee Evans, in fact, was at the event and donated, I believe it was $100. So even John Lee Evans, talking to him right after that, didn't see much of a problem with that. And at the time, I'm not sure that he knew she had used district resources or that he had apparently known there were district connections there. But I didn't have the sense that he knew it was problematic even then.
But later on, it seemed like it did become problematic. What was Foster's response?
So it sort of blew up, the story sort of blew up and got a lot of attention. Hoping to quell some of that, she put out a statement that it was sort of an apology, and I say sort of an apology because she called it a mistake of the heart. It said that basically she was just being a parent, doing what a parent does by trying to help her kids, and she didn't follow the proper format, but it wasn't malicious or intentional.
Well, the story doesn't end there. Run us through some of the other key components of what's going on here.
Sure. So this is a story that's been sort of brewing since summer, basically summer of last year. So it's been brewing for a while now. Some of the accusations were that she was heavily involved in the decision to remove a well-regarded principal from the School of Creative Performing Arts, where Ms. Foster's son happened to have Ms. Foster happened to have a son at the time. So
right, attending the school, and there was accusations that she was involved somehow in having the removal of Mitzi Lizarraga, the principal there. And there was also something to do with the school counselor, the head school counselor.
Right. So all that it centers around a negative college evaluation letter that was written on behalf of her son. So Kim Abigate, head counselor of the school, wrote an evaluation letter that Ms. Foster didn't like. It basically said there was no basis to recommend the student to college. And now through email chains, we can see that when Ms. Foster found out about that, she was furious and she demanded action at the school. She demanded that the letter that she didn't like be retracted and a new one be added.
And was it?
It was added shortly thereafter. We saw that the counselor who wrote the negative evaluation, or what she deemed to be negative, she was punished. Investigation targeted her, and she was eventually suspended for 9 days. She said it was without pay, cost her about $6,000. So the evidence, the way the evidence lines up, it seems like Marne Foster had a lot to do with the way that was handled.
What about the concerns about Superintendent Cindy Martin's involvement?
Right, and I think that that's probably one of the bigger implications, one of the bigger questions in this whole ordeal, is that we see Cindy Martin, as superintendent, copied on emails from early on, showing at least she was aware of what was going on. So maybe she wasn't behind some of this. But
was that emails from Marne Foster?
There was emails between Marne Foster and a senior district manager in regards to a plan that they'd come up with on how to deal with this and how to handle it. And we see that at least Cindy Martin was copied on that and aware of it.
Now, so far, school district officials, though, have defended Marne Foster. And aside from the possible investigation that we spoke of earlier into the matter that may be decided on early this week or early next week, what else could happen in this?
All right, so on Tuesday night, the board met for a closed session meeting. All right, so they retired to a room where they talked amongst themselves for 3 hours. 3 hours later, they emerge and they say that they've approved a possible investigation into the fundraising actions and into a legal claim that may have been fraudulently filed
Okay, so and from there might be a lawsuit, or do we know? We have to start there.
So basically, the investigation isn't moving forward yet. I think procedurally they have to talk about it during an open meeting and approve this independent investigation that could come about. If they
Okay.
approve it.
All right. Well, we'll be following this. Voice of San Diego reporter Mario Konan, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.